Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our second episode for 2022. 2022, oh my God, I'm stuck in the past. 2023. Ah,
Can
great,
you
great start.
believe it is February already? No, I
No,
can't.
it's definitely, most definitely not February. It's still January. Uh, no, yeah, the year just goes past so quickly. And, you know, it seems like only yesterday we were talking about World of Tanks stuff as well. And that's been done since November. And I honestly, that's the league that I'm excited for the most to come back, and I cannot wait to see what happens there. So this is sort of tangentially related news. Some people might have seen at the end of last year. And sorry, Natty, I didn't give you a heads up before I was going to say that, but
That's okay. I like surprises.
I just started talking about World of Tanks, and it suddenly occurred to me to let people know. End of last year, Jay Truman, who has been such a big supporter of what we do here at Nuts and Bolts from World of Tanks, left World of Tanks. So I do want to take the opportunity to say big thank you to Jay for all the work he's put in and getting the ANZ PL and B League to what it is now. And it just was such an amazing thing to see over the last couple of years, this league spring up, and most of that is due to his passion for it.
Absolutely. And, Jay's worked with us on a lot of things as well as, your panel at PAX as
Mhm.
well, working with Game on Cancer and a lot of other good causes, raising money in the gaming scene. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's sad to see him go, but obviously he's onto bigger and better things. And
That's it. He said he had
we,
a passion project that he's working on that he's not ready to announce yet, but definitely keep an eye on that. Follow him on Twitter, J Rated. I'm sure it will be an amazing project.
yeah.
Cool. But we do have some esports news as well. Well, that is esports news, I reckon. I'm going to
Yeah.
class that
Oh, I
as
think it's
esports news.
esports news.
It,
Yeah.
but we've got some stuff here from Peru. So the next Dota 2 DCP DPC. DPC. I'm thinking DCP is not right. That's Department of Child Protection here. No, that's not it. No, it's the Dota Pro circuit. So their next major is going to be in Lima in Peru, but there's been some pretty heavy unrest there lately that is causing some doubt on if this major is going to go ahead.
Yeah, so over the last month, we've seen other uh, sporting events cancelled in Peru. There's reports coming out of the country at the moment due to the unrest. There's been about 50 people that have died in unrest, and so everybody's wondering, with the event only a couple of weeks away now, are they going to be proceeding or is it going to be put on hold? We were looking at the prize pool and all the teams that are involved, just going, it's going to be it's a big event, a big LAN event, and cancelling at the last minute I think will cause a lot of headaches as well. But you have to be mindful of people's safety. We're not sure if it's going to go ahead or not.
That's right. Like at the end of the day, this is about player safety. Like there's some pretty big threats and unrest coming up out of there. So like Machu Picchu has been closed off. Like
Mm.
this is like one of their major tourist attractions, and they've closed it off to public access because of there's just so much unrest there. And I would like to think that they're looking at this very, very closely and making sure that player safety is paramount. And if they have to cancel the event, then I just really hope that they do.
Yeah, yeah. It's been very interesting, like looking at articles talking about, the teams that are heading over there. They've got 18 different teams from six different regions. They've got it's, sold out audiences for the LAN events, a $500,000 USD prize pool. Huge, huge event for the South Americas, and it's a bit scary.
It's yeah, very, very scary. And I must admit, it's something we don't tend to hear about a lot here in Australia. Like the the Asian nations, because we're in the Southeast Asian region, is something we tend to hear about a little bit more, which is reasonably calm at the moment.
Well,
But yeah,
yes, as NATO are meeting with Japan,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But but yeah, seeing. like this sort of stuff in South America, like it's a little bit scary, and I hope they can get it sorted, and whether they have to move it or just cancel it altogether. Yeah, I just hope that the players' best interests are taken into account there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And obviously, we're keeping everybody in mind that's involved with the situation, and thinking of their safety, and you know, uh, anything feels like really token to say, thoughts and
Yeah,
prayers. But we are thinking of people over there at the moment.
yep. So a bit closer to home, over the ditch in New Zealand, there, the New Zealand esports body there has done a really amazing thing and has put up $55,000 to help esports in New Zealand, and it just sounds so amazing. So the key points here is, and bear in mind this is New Zealand dollars, slightly less than Australian dollars, I think, based on exchange rate. I think it's like 1.1 Australian dollar to, well, 1.1 New Zealand dollars to an Australian dollar, I think. But either way, there's 10 grand that they're putting up for high school leagues. There's 35,000 for Hyperfiber League, 5,000 for a sim racing championship, and 5,000 for Arena Classic. So that's, I've always been a big pusher and believer in grassroots, not just esports, but sports in general. If you're going to build a club, if you're going to build interest in something, you need to start at the grassroots. And yeah, it'll take years for you to see any changes, any positive benefits from it. But that's where you build your interest. It's where those people will get the love of playing it. Even if they don't play professionally, they'll have the love of playing it just in general. And this is where it needs to start. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad that there's that money there for high school league.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. We have seen last week we spoke about it a little bit with the ESL, grassroots high school events
Mm.
that they're running. So it's just really cool to see New Zealand putting forward their announcements on this as well. They are also seeking partners. So a part of the announcement was them trying to attract other advertisers and partners for the events. So to try and build that equity and that resource pool so they can do more for grassroots is also a really exciting prospect. And I hope lots of New Zealand businesses come on board with them.
Mm-hmm. And that application period is open now from actually today, day of recording, 1st of February, and ends on the 15th of February, which is my mum's birthday. There you go.
So there you go. There you go.
Yeah, good fun.
Oh, does she want to sponsor the league as a birthday present to
Uh,
herself?
Probably not. I think she'd probably sponsor Goa before she
Ah,
sponsored a random
a
esports
bit too
league in
far
New
across the
Zealand. Yeah,
ditch.
that's it. Just
Yeah.
a little bit too far. Um, but yeah, but look, it's this these grants as well, are not just open to anybody. There's a caveat in there that people with the silver accredited tournament organizer status or higher. That's what this is for. So you've got to already kind of have a proven track record of running tournaments, which I think is a good way of saying to people, we're not just going to give money out willy nilly. You have to actually have an interest in there and be decent at it already.
Yeah. Yeah. No, very exciting. They're putting the money up for this, and looking forward to seeing what esports are coming out of New Zealand this year.
Yeah.
Always exciting to see what they're doing, because I think us and them we're a bit neck and neck with our investments and what they're doing, and I think nationally they're a little bit more progressive with having the national interest represented there with funding. So yeah, very cool.
Do you think that this is something that like ESL Australia could do with grants to do this, or do you think that this is maybe happening? NZ Esports are doing this because they're a smaller national organisation and they don't have the backing to be able to do their own thing, so they're trying to not outsource is the wrong word, but use the experience and of other orgs to run these events.
I mean, there's a couple of things when we're talking about resourcing in esports that a lot of experts will touch on. One of the things I really like discussing is non-endemic partners coming on board for things like this. So if you get somebody like a Channel 9 or a Channel 7 saying, well, hey, we've got this broadcast space, maybe we could partner with New Zealand Esports and they could provide us somebody who's experienced in running tournaments and we can work together. Bump for everybody involved, more experience, more exposure. Something like that would be really exciting to see. But as far as what's happening in Australia, I don't know if we have the same strength at a national level. We've got really good advocacy in the political space, but I was really hoping with this revive policy that the Australian government came out that you wrote a piece on earlier this week, that there would be some money squirreled away for investment in esports. We're not quite there yet.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, like video games is still in Australia at least seen as the smaller child off to the side of that doesn't need as much attention, because I watched not all but a lot of the press release that the minister Tony Burke did as part of this, and he's reading out everything and the crowd are going, yes, this is great, and then there was like a 2-line thing there saying, oh yeah, we're reviving the games fund as well, and there was just like a little golf clap. And so I think in the arts,
don't understand that little trickle of funding, how much money that makes in return for our economy and boosting the skills of Australians. It's incredible, and maybe we need more lobbying. That's where I think I see the national organisations that we have doing an okay job at the moment. That they do a good job of political lobbying.
Yeah, I wonder if we could get something, because instead of going through to through federal government funding like that, maybe if we could get in the ear of the Australian Institute of Sport and stuff like that to see if they might do something. And it was interesting because I keep going back to it. There was a panel I went to at PAX last year. I can't remember if you were there, Natty, about esports at the Olympics, and how they spoke about how getting esports into the Olympics, while it's probably a B tier event for the players that go into it, because those players will still want to go to the Worlds and the internationals and stuff like that. But it means that if you go into the Olympics, all of a sudden funding from bodies like AIS anyway,
yeah.
and like the local state branches of that open up.
Yeah.
Because it's suddenly an Olympic sport. So it's definitely an interesting thing, and I kind of hope that we see some stuff like this in Australia. But no matter what, this is an absolutely brilliant move by New Zealand Esports to get more people interested in esports and running these tournaments.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it would be great to see.
Mm-hmm. So another interesting move, I'll call it, came from ESL Counter-Strike. It was announced on their Twitter today, where they are now not going to be broadcasting their tournaments exclusively on Twitch. So it's going to go out across Twitch and YouTube, which to me is an absolute win. The more, not just from the fact that if you want to go back and watch it, then surely the ESL channel will be a partnering channel, so I think it's 2 weeks that VODs stay up for. But on YouTube, if you go live on there, that you can set that to stay for forever. And I just love that it's still going to be there. You can go back and review stuff, and it would just make things just nicer. There are people that prefer like the Twitch ecosystem and the people that prefer the YouTube ecosystem. Personally, if I'm watching a game, I'm not what's the word? Participating in chat.
Yeah.
Like, Twitch chat moves so fast in these sorts of things that there's just no point in trying to keep up or read. And even just like cheering, I might put in the odd GG every now and then, but that'll be about it. Or enter a competition that they got going. But
yeah. I'm like, raise your koalas if it's an international event. I'm chucking that in chat. But I can't keep up. Even sometimes when it's on slow mode, I struggle with the Twitch chat.
Yeah. But it was an interesting thing because we were talking a little bit before we went live about this, Natty, and about what sort of contracts might exist with Twitch and the esports provider, whether it be ESL or the LCO, even though the ESL is still involved in the LCO stuff as well. But and thinking about it, like I've got to think that the only benefit that I reckon ESL would get out of putting their shows on Twitch is front page, because you quite often see them on front page, and no ads, like no forced ads. So
Yeah.
like, and to me, that's not a lot of benefit. Like, I doubt Twitch is sitting there going, "Here's a bucket load of money to broadcast with us," like, you know, Channel 7 does for the football, or Channel 9 used to do with the cricket and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, I think that we've unfortunately seen Twitch struggle a lot with discoverability, where YouTube is really starting to thrive in that area. YouTube gaming is kind of taking off, and where a lot of streamers are preferring to head now. So it is becoming the, emerging brand for gaming streaming, and it only makes sense for big brands like this to forego the front page for the option to also stream on YouTube and get the benefits from YouTube, which is hopefully more eyeballs for them,
Yeah.
more interaction, that varied audience. I think the audience that's on YouTube might skew a little bit older, so they're maybe getting more demographic elements added into their audience, which might open up opportunities for advertisers. That there's lots of reasons why more eyeballs are good, and I think this is fantastic for them.
I also like. There's nothing to say that they still don't have front page either, because that might be still part of their negotiations. Because Twitch has been relaxing a lot of the rules around partner stuff before, so partners on Twitch can't simultaneously broadcast to multiple platforms, but they've relaxed on the exclusivity stuff. So you can broadcast on Twitch, finish your stream there, and then go over and stream on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're going to stream. But one of the things that stands out to me about this one is that they'll be broadcasting all of their live streams to Twitch and YouTube. That says to me they're going to be live on both at the same time, and I really hope that's the case, and it's not one of those live delayed telecastings that television. Do you remember that?
Yeah. They'd start the cricket game half an hour early if you late if you were in the state where the cricket was on.
Well, yeah, but they would broadcast it unaltered, so they would still call it live. But it was live delayed telecast. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. But
No,
but anyway,
I don't think we'll be seeing that.
no,
Yeah.
I think this is what it says on the tin. I think it's going to be broadcast at the same time on Twitch and YouTube, which is amazing, and I cannot wait to see how that goes along there. Now let's move on to some LCO news, because that's chuffing along.
It's second week of action this week, wasn't it?
Second week of action, 3 games this week. So at time of recording, only 2 rounds have been done. So there's still one more round to go tonight, which, if you're watching this live on twitch.tv/GameOnOz, will be last night for you. Yes, it gets confusing. It hurts my head as well. But for the most part, like we've seen it. Well, I'm going to call it an upset, because I think it is. Direwolves defeated Chiefs on Monday night, and I think that was a big thing from them. Like, seeing the main 3 of Chaz, Decoy, and Prater together again. So these are 3 of the 5 players that took Pentanet out of groups at MSI when LCO first kicked off. Like, seeing them back playing together, and then the other 2 play. I'm trying to remember. I think Poltron? I think is the.
Oh, I can't remember.
No, I can't either. And I'm going to have to look this up, because I want to. Poltron is jungle, Zoranus is top lane. So having them there as well, they're looking like a really solid team. to the point where I'm going to rephrase what I was saying before the start of LCO, in that this is the Chiefs Pentanet League. This is the Chiefs Pentanet Direwolves League. That's how
Yeah,
good Direwolves are looking.
that's really exciting. Like, I think the last couple of seasons we've kind of seen one team just run away with it, and it's kind of nice to be looking at a prospect where we've got, three teams kind of tussling it out, and it'd be really interesting to see where they all land for groups. Just because obviously you think those three teams are going to end up being split between the two groups, then how that will work with them coming together afterwards.
Yeah. I still think Chiefs are a cut above the rest.
Mm.
Just because Chiefs and Pentanet played on Tuesday night, and just the way Chiefs demolished Pentanet. Like, Pentanet were never in the game. It was
Pentanet.
Yeah. They were like, early on it kind of was a little bit confusing, but Chiefs were playing their game and they continued to do that. Pentanet just couldn't win team fights. Whenever there was an engaged, Chiefs just would not let Pentanet get away. They would just kill a couple and then it was over. Like, in a 5v5, Pentanet couldn't win, and once you lost one or two, it was, Pentanet just knew. They disengaged and went away. So it is a curious thing, though, because it means that at the moment Direwolves are the undefeated team in the league. So Chiefs have lost one to Direwolves, and now Pentanet have lost one to Chiefs. But the telling game will be next week, when Pentanet face off against Direwolves, and see how that will work out.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how, we might end up with a rock, paper, scissors situation with those three teams.
Pretty much. Well, it's funny you say that, because I have a spreadsheet. I like my spreadsheets.
I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Okay. Well, let's have a quick look at my spreadsheet, and then I can be laughed at everybody that actually knows stuff about the game. So the way I'm seeing, I've done a bit of a rough guide for how the games will play out over the next couple of weeks, and you'll notice that I don't think Peace is going to win a game. They've already forfeited 5 games. 5 out of the 7 games they've forfeited, and the 2 they come back and play are against Direwolves and Chiefs. I don't think
which
they
is
can
really rough entry for them. Like, coming back into the season with those 2 teams to play against.
Yeah.
Ooh, rough.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't think that they can do it. So, and keep in mind as well that, right, we recorded this before the Wednesday night game, so we don't know the Wednesday night results, apart from PGG will get the points over Peace, because Peace have forfeited again. So the only real match that I think is going to super affect the outcome is going to be the Direwolves Pentanet game. And coincidentally, if PGG wins, it will most likely mean that Direwolves, Chiefs and Pentanet will finish on 6 wins. And if Direwolves beat Pentanet, it means the Direwolves will finish top, Chiefs second, and Pentanet third. So either way, it means we got our Chiefs, Direwolves, Pentanet 1, 2, 3. It's just the order that's going to matter. And I have no idea how they'll work out a 3-way tie, because you can't do it based on who beat who, because, Chiefs will have beat PGG, Direwolves would have beat Chiefs, and Pentanet would have beaten Direwolves. So, I have no idea how they work that out.
And how they're going to count the Peace games as well. Like, I know it doesn't really matter in this instance because they all played the same amount. Oh, actually, no. Well, it won't work out that way. That Peace would have forfeited against those 3 teams the same amount of times.
No.
And wouldn't you hate that if that was the thing that made the difference of what group they're going into?
Yeah. But look, I honestly, at this point, I think the easier group is going to be for whoever finishes second. Mainly because if you finish first, you're going to have whoever's in third in your group. And when the groups are double elimination groups, so first and second are still likely to head out. But if you finish second, you're going to be top of Group B, which is more likely well, you're just going to cruise out anyway. So I don't know. Would you rather the hard game in the first or second week, because that's probably most likely where it's going to be, or would you rather the cruise through and just come out the other side?
I'm as a viewer,
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's interesting because we're going to have kind of that lopsided group
Mm.
situation where we're seeing, um, you know, two of the top three in the same bracket, having really competitive games. Um, it's interesting proposition. Surely you'd want to keep your match fitness up and be having more games against higher strength of schedule teams
Yeah.
than not.
Yeah. Yeah. You would kind of think that, wouldn't you? Um,
I'm not a
so
coach though. Maybe
nah.
they can organise scrims on the other days against top international teams or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Um, one thing I do want to point out here, and it's around peace. So peace, I think will have to win the two games against Direwolves and Chiefs to get out of last place, and that's important because for them, if they do that, they'll finish seventh, and that means they'll have a much better chance of getting out of the bottom, which really makes a mockery of having forfeited 5 of your 7 games in the round robin. If you can get in and win your two games and then basically get through to the finals after that, because the group B will definitely be the easier group for one of the non-top 3 sides, because there'll be a spot there that you're not fighting for against the big 3 to grab, and it's why I'm predicting Mammoth to the get through to the final 4, because if things work out the way I think they're going to work out, the group B will be Chiefs, Mammoth, Bliss, and Ground Zero, and Mammoth have already beaten Bliss, I think. I can't quite remember, but they've beaten one of them, and I think they've still got to play Ground Zero. But I think Mammoth just have that experience that will be able to beat these two newbie teams in the league, even with some good players like Bliss having lived. But I just think that Group B is all important for those bottom 5 sides. And yeah, getting back to the point I was making, like, I don't understand peace. I really don't. Like, the season may have sprung up on us a little bit, but you just know that it wasn't sprung on all the orgs. They knew when this was going to start. And I don't know what the situation with getting visas is like these days, and what sort of lead time that they need for that. But Peace would have known that they were targeting these other out of country players, and getting them into the country should have been done ages ago. It should have been done long enough ago that they don't have to miss the first 2 weeks of LCO Split 1 2023.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it last week. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Um, I just think it's unprofessional and doesn't put the league in a good light at all, and you know is decreasing the opportunities for the other teams in the league to play against the top tier competition. These players that are on Peace aren't slouch players,
Mm.
and they're missing out on the competitive opportunities, and so are the teams that were lined up against them to play. So it's all just a frustrating situation and I think we're just both frustrated at the fact that there just doesn't feel like there's any legitimate consequence.
No,
Um,
and there's not, because Peace will still get through to the through to the group stage. The only sort of consequence there is that they'll might be able to get into Group B, but like I said, it's very hard for them, and that's luck of fixturing. Like,
yeah,
that's luck of the draw. Like, if Peace's last 2 games were against Kanga and Ground Zero, they could quite easily be walking into the final 4,
mm,
and that saddens me.
yeah,
It the fact that that if it wasn't for the fact that they were playing one of the big three or two of the big three in their last round, that they could have been playing finals. Like that does my head in.
Mm.
Yes.
Anyway,
Yeah.
You do have like your prediction that you've got on your spreadsheet there. That's running all the way through groups, isn't it? Or is it just leading
yes?
Up
So it's running all the way through groups. So the way that the groups will work. So after, I think I've said before, it's first, third, sixth, and eighth in Group A. So after the round robin, the standings will sit there, and then for Group B, after the round robin, whoever's in second, fourth, fifth, and seventh, I think. Yeah, seventh. They'll play off. And then when you get into the groups, it'll be 1v4 and 2v3. There'll be a winner's bracket and a loser's bracket. Whoever wins goes through to the finals. Whoever loses from the winner's bracket will play the winner from the losers. So it's a double elimination bracket.
Mm.
But the way that I think it will work out is, we'll have direwolves in what I'm going to call the group of death, because it really is. If anybody other than direwolves or Pentanet get out of that group, I'm going to be very, very surprised.
Very surprised, yeah.
Which once again, I'm harping on about it, but it really annoys me that if Peace do win these next two games, they'll find themselves, or could almost guarantee that they will find themselves in a final spot. And it just really annoys me that that's possible after them forfeiting so many games. But yeah. But look, I honestly, at the end of the day, I think most likely what we're going to have is Direwolves, PGG, Chiefs, and Mammoth in the final four, playing for those two positions that are going to go to the PSC, and try for those. Actually, I think it's only one MSI position. I think, and next split will be two Worlds positions. Mm-hmm. But yeah, fingers crossed that we can make some headway there. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens for the rest of the week and the rest of the round robin, and see if my predictions are right. I think that's the thing I'm more concerned about, seeing if my predictions are right.
I think we were also discussing before a little bit of other wild speculation just around the date of when DreamHack is in relation to the LCO.
So if you have a look at the LCO fixtures, which you can on their website, there's a big gap after the round robin finishes that I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So they've got question marks next to games on Wednesday, the 8th of February, so I'm not quite sure what they're doing there. The round robin kind of should end after the Tuesday, so I'm not sure if they're planning some games in kind of like a playoff format before going to the group seeds. I don't know. But then we've got the group seeding. But if you go all the way down, the last sort of scheduled matches happen on Wednesday, the 15th of March. Which, one, it sounds weird that if they're going to do a final, it's going to be on a Wednesday. And two, that it finishes that early, because that's a long time before DreamHack. That's like 6 weeks before DreamHack happens. So I don't think we're going to get an LCO final at DreamHack. But like you were saying, Natty, wild speculation here. What if PSC at DreamHack?
What if PSC at DreamHack? I don't know, man. I don't think so. But this idea really excites me, and I worry because I know it will upset all the other regions if we've just moved into the PCS, and then you said before we've just moved into the PCS. It's like, nah, we'll take the LAN event now. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Can you imagine? It's just, yeah, that's cool. We've got 2 teams here. Now we're gonna just take your LAN and maybe take your MSI position as well. So yeah, it could be interesting, and like wild speculation, but I like wild speculation.
Yeah. Why not? If we don't wildly speculate, we can never be right. We've got to do it sometimes.
That's it. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. unless it's a digital clock without a battery, and then you're just screwed anyway.
It's gonna be interesting though. Like that time period because we've got the Game Expo, we've got DreamHack all in that cluster around happening in Melbourne. So lots going on.
Sorry, my mind just went, oh, yeah, the Game Expo's around there, but that's like the 11th and 12th of March, isn't
It
it?
is, yeah,
So,
it's the weekend before.
yeah,
Yeah.
my brain suddenly went, oh, I wonder if LCO final at the Game Expo, but no, I don't think that'll happen. Because yeah, generally they like to give the teams a bit of a break before the final as well. Usually they get at least a week off. So
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's the other thing. Maybe what's up on the website is just placeholder. Maybe they haven't thought that far ahead yet. So it
Or
could
they
be,
have, but they need to wait to announce things,
yeah,
or
yeah.
could be anything. Maybe they're doing the LCO Expo and
Yeah.
they'll be running their own event.
That's it. Maybe Stephen Cornish, the CEO of PGG, has convinced them to come over to Perth and have something here and scrim against some Southeast Asian nations. I don't know.
Who knows, man?
Wild speculation. But cool. Well, that's the LCO news, and probably enough of my ranting in particular about what's going on there. But let's we got one more story for tonight, and I love this one, Natty. You brought this one to my attention, so I might let you kick this one off.
Okay, yeah, something fun to end the day on. So I was just looking through Esports, fantastic website, and they were talking about a Valorant NA team that is currently preparing to kick off their season. But they've gotten in a little bit of strife because their team name is actually trademarked. So their current team name was going to be the Squirtle Squad.
Yes.
So for anybody who's a Pokemon fan, you know that Squirtle's the best starter Pokemon. Don't get me started on that. We could fight about that all day.
All I'm seeing though is like I'm just imagining these guys rocking up with their sunglasses on, like because there's that Squirtle squad in the Pokemon show, and like they meet up with Ash's Squirtle, and they're all wearing sunglasses. I just go, I want that. I want to see that.
You want them to keep the Squirtle Squad name?
I do. I would like it, but yeah, I understand that Nintendo has trademarked Squirtle. So
yeah, the Pokemon
is,
company will not be very happy with that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But the team did go to Twitter with their quandary. They said, look, due to conflict with Riot and Nintendo, we've got to change our name. So what are we going to call our team? And they had lots and lots of very funny variations on their existing name. So the Blast Boys, I kind of liked the Blast Boys. The Turtle Troop.
Oh, I quite like that one.
I'm getting some nods straight. I'm not selling him here. Do you want me to tell you the most popular name that came up?
Well, I just want to talk about Turtle Troop for a minute, because that's like a two-pronged FU Nintendo, because you've got Squirtle, who's a turtle, but then, all the Koopas are basically turtles as well. So you can just say, yeah, we're just going to call ourselves Turtle Troop, and you can't do anything about it, Nintendo, because you can't trademark turtle. But yes, I would like to know what the most popular one then is, Natty.
Yeah, so one of the players on the team suggested in this Twitter thread, Moist Esports.
Oh, that is so good. I love that. They're just not just moist, it's Moist Esports. And oh yeah, no, I want that, and I want every time that the casters have to say the game, it's Moist.
Oh, you want them to go full ASMR on the name Moist.
That's it. But they've got to take the pitch down and just it'd be Moist. Just like
I don't know. I'll have to leave that to you wherever commentating. I can't quite pull up the Moist.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, doesn't work for me. No.
But like I just do find that humorous. Yeah, look, it was bound to happen, because Nintendo were quite protective of their IPs, and rightly so. Like, there's a reason that Pokemon game is a reason that the Pokemon company can release a technical garbage that was the last Pokemon release, and people still going, it's an amazing game. It's got all these childhood. Yeah, but it's got all these bugs, but my God, it's still a fun game. So. quite rightly, that Nintendo make banger games, and because they're protective of their IP like that. So, I do like that there was no like Squirtle McSquirty face or something in there.
Oh yes, bringing back the Bodie McBoat
Boat
face.
face,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I can appreciate that.
Mm. Yeah.
One of the rejected names, which we assume Riot wouldn't have selected, the Squirting Squad.
Mm. I don't
Yeah,
know what's I don't know what's wrong with that. It's just Squirtles have a bit of a squirting happening. I'm sure that's just what they've gone for there, and there's no other alternative meaning to
no,
that
no,
name.
definitely. And they would have just come out with water pistols, just shooting
Yeah,
everybody as
of
part of
course.
their entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and on that note, before I bring the tone of this show down even further, I think that's a good place to end for tonight. Natty, thank you so much for coming along, discussing all the esports news. It's been great. Love it.
Fantastic Wednesday as always, and looking forward to chatting with the chat on Twitch on Thursdays when we put this live on live delay. What did you say before?
It's live delayed telecast.
Live delay telecast on
Yep.
Twitch on Thursday nights.
Because when I edit, I just chop the end bits and the beginning bits to make sure it fits nicely. Nothing edited. Live delayed telecast and unedited for your viewing displeasure. But thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you guys next time.